Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Live? Now I'm going to speak about nothing. Well, I'm going to speak about nothing. Speaking about nothing is not the same as saying nothing. So much can be spoken about the number zero in mathematical theory. The number zero, or the word zero, is in Sanskritam shunya. Not a very popular word among Vaishnavas, but it is name 749 in Sri Visnu Sahasranama, in the recension that I'm following. So let's talk about it. Shunya as a name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which means empty, void, non-existence. Now, there are Vaishnava commentators on Vishnu Sahasranam, and there is the commentary by Sri Shankaracharya, who is a closet Vaishnava on a mission, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, but who has propagated the philosophy of Kevaladvaitavad, in which he propounds that the Absolute Truth is devoid of any attributes. So he takes this name, Shunya, in consonance with this philosophy that he propounds, that the Absolute Truth is devoid of any attributes. He says that, he's called Shunya because he is devoid of any attributes. We don't like this. We don't like this at all, this idea that no attributes of the Supreme Lord. In fact, Shankara's philosophy himself, the Shankara's philosophy itself, propagated by himself, is largely in opposition to, or at least supposed to be in opposition to, the voidism or the shunyavad of the Buddhists and the Jains, and especially the Buddhists, in which they propose, I don't really know how it can be called a philosophy or how any philosophy can be built on it whatsoever, although the Buddhists have built a massive edifice of not really one philosophy, but with many, many facets to it, a tremendous philosophical edifice, all on the basis of nothing. I suppose they have to do that because it's very difficult to show that everything is nothing, because it's not. Shankara stands in opposition to this. He doesn't say that shunya, everything is nothing, but he says one. Buddha says zero. Shankara says one. Madhva emphasizes two, dualism, Shuddha Dvaita, no, not Shuddha Dvaita, there's Shuddha Dvaita. And in general, the Vaishnavas, they emphasize the many, infinity. He has an infinity of forms. So Vaishnavism is also, or Indian philosophy, we can say, for want of a better term, is very mathematical. Shankara says this name shows that Supreme Lord is he takes it literally to mean nothing. But if we say to someone, you are nothing, that's insulting, isn't it? You are nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. It's insulting. It's not one of the dearest names of the Supreme Lord. We don't find the residents of Vrindavan calling out to him, Shunya, Shunya. They call out to him, Govinda, Murari, Damoda, Keshava. These are very dear names of the Supreme Lord. Shunya, it's more like an acknowledgement that he is everything, and his everythingness includes nothingness also. His everythingness is so complete that nothingness is also a facet of it. Nothingness is not outside. If there is a concept of nothingness, which again in Buddhism has been highly developed, which although in the Western world there is philosophy, nihilism is also there, but it's not developed as in Buddhism. If we want to look for gold in a filthy place or give credit where it's due, then philosophically Buddhism is incredibly developed, but it's all on the basis of nothing. And then another great contribution of Indian minds, although we're not particularly promoting Indianism here, we're promoting Krishnaism, is the propounding of zero in mathematics, which gives a position at we come to base 10, but also not just giving the zero, which makes mathematics as it's now known in the Western world. In the Roman world, there were Roman numerals which severely restricted their possibility of doing mathematics. But the implications of zero were very much developed by Indian mathematicians who were all followers of the Vedic culture. So, yeah, Shunya, it's there in Vishnu Sahasranama. It's not one of the dearest names. I don't plan to call any upcoming disciple by the name Shunyadas, and we've never heard of anyone called Shunyadas. But it's there in Vishnu Sahasranama, and the Vaishnava commentators have commented on it without disparaging it. We should do also. Not in the way that, obviously, not in the way that Shankara does, to say that he's devoid of attributes, which is absurd. Because if we take this one name absolutely literally, then all the other names in Vishnu Sahasranama are nullified. Why don't we take all the other? All the other names describe his qualities in various ways. His qualities, his activities. Activities are done by persons with attributes. So it's really biased of Shankara to take this one name and say, yes, see, Shunya, yes, it means the Supreme is without attributes. But that's not even the Mayavad philosophy. They say Satyam Jnanam Ananta Brahma. Well, those are attributes, right? Satyam, Brahma, they say Brahma is nirguna. But Satyam, truth, truthful. Truth. Truth is a better word here than truthfulness. Truth with a very big capital T. Jnanam, knowledge, and how do you say knowledge is an attribute? But then the Mayavadis want to say that jnana, geya, gata, they all become one. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower, they're all one. Something wrong with your knowledge there. This is an impossibility. The Vaishnava acharyas have shown with a simple logic that this is impossible. And anyway, even a child can understand this, that it's not all the same. If I know something about something else. Or if I know about me, the knowledge about myself, if I take myself to be the body, my body is so much tall, so much average weight. It's knowledgeable. It's not exactly to say that I am whatever it is. Almost, I think it's 5'11.5" something tall. And I don't know what it is in metric. Anyway, that is a statement which can be, or it describes something about the body that I'm presently in. It's got to be an approximation. But it doesn't exactly correspond to the body that I'm in. The term 5'11.5" does not correspond directly to my body. The body has got nothing to do with that statement in English language or French language or German language or any language. So Shankara tries to take this name as attributelessness, but it contradicts his own. And Ananta means unlimited, eternal, unending. But Ananta can only be understood in relation to other things, which means there are attributes. Anyway, I'm not going to get into a whole big thing just now about how Mayavad, impersonalism, and Shunyavad are terribly flawed. They're wrong. I won't get into that. Let's get into something better than Shankara's attempted ode to illusion. If he's commenting on the Vishnu Sahasranama, saying Vishnu is like this, Vishnu is like that, but then he says all nothing. So his commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama, he takes it all as an ode to illusion. And then why should you, if you think it's all illusory, then why are you making a commentary on it? So let's get to the Vaishnavas. Proper understanding, the name Shunya in relation to Vishnu means that he's empty or devoid of, not everything, not devoid of attributes, but devoid of defects. That's one way of understanding it. Another way is that he makes everything as if empty. At the time of the dissolution of the universe is completely wrapped up, all the ingredients enter the body of Mahavishnu. There's nothing left. So he makes nothing. And also he wipes out his enemies without trace. Jai, Haribol. That's much better understanding of Shunya than trying to enviously imagine him to be devoid of any attributes. From the Madhva Sampradaya, he or another meaning is given, that he's called Shunya because he makes everyone below him. There's no one, nothing equal to him or above him. Matapparataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. No one is equal to him. Okay, let's look a little bit at the understanding. He's devoid of defects. Parashara Bhatta gives this understanding that he takes birth among humans. What is that? Humans, rishis, aquatics. And this is the verse spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. Chanda kalo tadabhavat ata tri yugang. That you take birth in various species of life, among rishis, demigods, aquatics, humans. He takes birth in this defective material world among humans and others who have defects, but he himself is not defective. He appears to be one of us, but he's not. Even though he takes birth among humans and moves in human society as if a human, he is always situated in his own transcendental position. Etad ishanam ishasya prakritisto pitad gunai. Now yujyate sadatma stair yata buddhis tadashraya. Very, very, very important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Just prior to this, it's described, this is in the first canto. Just prior to this describes how Krishna, he is solicited by his beautiful wives who want to enjoy with him, but he's not moved in the slightest, because even though Etad Ishanam, this is the quality of him being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that even though he appears within his own material energy, he's not affected by the qualities of that material energy, but he remains in his own position, Shuddha Sattva. And those who take shelter of him, they also participate in that same pure position, which includes the queens of Dwarka. Their coquetry is not on the mundane platform, although it might seem to be. He takes birth, although he's unborn, among humans to make himself accessible to them. He likes people. Is that a defect? No, it's not a defect. That he comes, the Mayavadis take it to be a sign that Vishnu has got defects because he appears among people. Whereas the ultimate manifestation of the highest truth is without personality, without form. It's distasteful even to think about their philosophies. But that is his great love, that he appears. His heart is not empty. His heart is very full of love, full of compassion. Compassion is an aspect of love. He's accessible to the people, which means especially for his devotees, they like to access to. And he also makes himself accessible to his enemies by killing them. He could, just like remote control, you sit in an office somewhere in America, fiddle around on your computer and send some drones and kill people on the other side of the world. He could do it by remote control, killing his enemies. Parasya shakti vividhaiva shruyate swabhavaki jnana balakriya cha. His potencies are multifarious, and they're naturally inherent in him. So he can do that. But it's not heroic. What kind of courage is there in sitting in somewhere in the desert in America or wherever, fiddling around with computer buttons and killing people by remote control? It's not the same as it's not the stuff which makes Hollywood movies, I guess. It might make some kind of mental movie, not the kind of action movie, not your Rambo kind of movies. Where's the heroism? There's no heroism. There's no Leela. There's no pastime. There's no courage. So Krishna makes